Hello again, I have more business for you right now. The Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana, CIIG, has urged the National Insurance Commission, NIC, to adopt a name and shame strategy to improve confidence in the insurance sector. According to the president of the institute, Reverend Asante Mafo Ahenkra, fines alone are not deterrent enough for insurance companies engaged in unethical behaviors. He spoke with Joy Business at the president's ball session, which formed part of the institute's 2019 educational conference and AGM. Bismarck Awusa was there and has this report.
The CIIG Educational Conference and Annual General Meeting brought together about 150 seasoned insurance professionals. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the Institute, Reverend Asante Mafo Ahenkra, urged the regulator, NIC, to name and shame companies engaged in unethical behaviors as part of moves to shore up underwriting profits and improve insurance claims management.
What we intend to do is to remind ourselves to go back to practice the basic things that made insurance companies become that strong, able to underrun big companies elsewhere. And so we want to do that, remind ourselves so that we don't fall victim to a situation where things deteriorate and we are not able to pay claims well. And some companies may even go bankrupt, like is happening with the banking sector. We thought that we should let them understand that it's not enough to punish them privately, and that by naming them, they send a signal to the public, and they'll be more concerned when their names go out there as having done something wrong.
The CIIG president's sentiments were re-echoed by the Deputy Commissioner of Insurance, Michael Andor, who lamented the low level of professionalism among insurance practitioners.
We should not only celebrate our achievement, we also need to identify and recognize our challenges and begin to address them. One major challenge we have is that even though we have managed to significantly increase the number of qualified professionals in the industry, the level of professionalism is still low.
He has therefore charged insurance companies to grow the number of customers and their distribution channels.
It is obvious that we do not have much customer love, but there are things we can do to improve that, and that includes suitability of product, transparency, and a good claims culture.
The conference saw the official launch of an award scheme for the insurance industry. Lydia Lariba Bawa is the former Commissioner of Insurance and the chairperson for the award scheme.
We want to organize this award scheme and own it because we have the requisite industry knowledge and we know who is who in our industry so that it will be credible.
The three-day conference also featured a seminar on exploiting the annuities market in Ghana, key considerations for success. Some seasoned fellows of the CIIG took turns at the conference to educate and take the professionals through a mentorship program. The CIIG later, at its annual general meeting, submitted a proposed 2020 budget together with notes to the financial statements for the year ended December 2018. Bismarck Awusa, Joy Business.
Country Director of AFCTA Policy Network Ghana and Diaspora, Louise Yao Afo, says Ghana must adopt technology if it wants to gain significantly from the Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement. His comments come on the back of a survey conducted by the Afro Champions Initiative, a regional public-private partnership of Africa's largest multinationals. The outcome of the survey says Ghana may not benefit much from the Continental Free Trade Agreement, which comes into effect in July 2020. Mr. Afo was sharing his thoughts on the latest survey earlier on the marketplace.
The agreement itself does not indicate how each country should arrive at its implementation. Each country is of each party member state is supposed to derive a certain strategy for implementation. And in Ghana, the government is rolling out in 3 months its national strategy to implement, and he has identified 7 clusters. 7 clusters. Okay. When these clusters are implemented, it cuts across all sectors. cut across all sectors. You have trade finance, you have trade finance, you have productive factors, you have infrastructure. All these things have various sub-clusters.
Okay. But let's look at this way. Looking at the fact that this is supposed to create an opportunity or a market for the entire continent, and we, as a major importer of goods and services into the country, do you think that we have a chance to leverage the opportunities that they present?
Of course, you see, if you look at free trade in general, the point is that it opens up for competition. Once you go in for something free, and besides, we are going to have liberalized category of goods and products. Again, it is an open time for more startups to rise. When you import more, it helps you become input-based economy. More inputs are coming for you to have a kind of open and wide, cheap, productive inputs to produce more. And also what happens is that it creates more jobs, because at the end of the day, more cheap inputs are coming in because of the open competition. It also supports you to have a little low-cost production, so they can increase your volume. That is the way you should look at it. Because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, you surely have to compete.
Now, the Commercial Division of an Accra High Court has set September 26 to give judgment on whether it has jurisdiction on a matter brought before it by owners of UniCredit Savings and Loans Limited Holder Group. Lead counsel for the Bank of Ghana, Frank Davis, is praying the court to quash UniCredit's case, which seeks to reverse a decision by the central bank to revoke the savings and loans company's license and also declare it insolvent. According to lawyers of the Bank of Ghana, the matter should be handled at an arbitration level before proceeding to court. Ebenezer Sabute witnessed the proceedings in court and filed this report.
According to the Bank of Ghana lawyers, the matter should have been handled at arbitration level before deciding to proceed to court. However, lawyer for UniCredit Savings and Loans argues that there is a breach of natural justice in the action taken by the Bank of Ghana. The High Court Judge, Justice George Kumson, has set 26 September to rule on whether the decision was proper or not. In a related development, lawyers for the receiver of the savings and loans companies has objected to an application served by Group Indum. This follows a directive by the court last week to properly serve the receiver in the case filed to terminate the liquidation process for GN Savings and Loan. The court is therefore adjourned the 26th to begin hearing from both sides. Member of the Group Indum Council, Kofi Asamoah, gave a brief on the next hearing.
There will probably be two things, either to hear the application or the preliminary objection application filed by the Attorney General. And secondly, if now that the receiver is served, the earlier order was that all the parties, all the respondents, Bank of Ghana, Ministry of Finance, Attorney General, and the receiver must file their responses to the application that the applicant had filed. So on Thursday, if they filed their response, then the judge is seized with all the responses from all the parties to be able to make a judgment or adjourn to make a judgment. And the second thing that is likely to be done is to hear the preliminary objection that the Attorney General had filed. Interestingly, counsel for Bank of Ghana, Mr. Frank Davis, also said he had also put in a preliminary legal objection application before the judge. So maybe these are the three things that will be discussed on Thursday.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General has also filed a response to the application by Group Indum. Eben Sapute's report for Joy Business.
Time now for the commodity news today. And that's all in business tonight. Many thanks for watching. For more business news, log on to my joyonline.com/business.